What's up, everyone? It's Prabdeep here with A's Pance, and today we're going to talk about action potential in cardiac cell. Now, we start off with phase 4, which is the resting membrane potential. Now, at rest, the cells are always negative, and in cardiac cells, they're negative 90. Okay, so let's just draw this out real quick. So we have a cell. Now, inside of the cell is always negative. And the prominent ion inside the cell is potassium. Outside the cell, the extracellular space, it's positive. And the main ion outside is sodium. Now, you guys might be wondering that both the sodium and the potassium are positive ions. So how is it that the inside of the cell is electronegative and the extracellular space is positive? So the way this works is the extracellular space just has way more ions, positive ions, than inside the cell. And that's why, in comparison to the extracellular space, the cell itself is electronegative. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Now, moving on, once this cell gets an impulse, it gets activated, the sodium channels open up and it allows the sodium to come inside. Now, once the sodium ions start coming inside the cell becomes positive and it starts going up, as you can see in phase 0. This process is called depolarization. Okay? Once we hit negative 40, which is a threshold, all of the sodium channels and calcium channels open up, pushing it up to the peak, which is right here. Now, once we hit the peak, the sodium channels shut off and potassium channels start to open. And this is called early repolarization. Once the potassium channels open up, they push the potassium inside the cell outwards, and that's why you have this rapid drop in the electronegativity. And once we hit the 0 mark, the calcium channels open up. We go into the phase 2, which is the plateau phase. Here you can see we have a straight line and nothing's changing, okay? We're in a plateau. There's no change in the electronegativity. Now, the way this happens is the calcium channels open up and they allow calcium ions to come inside the cell. So if there's one potassium that's leaving the cell, there's one calcium that's coming inside. And when this happens, there's no change in the electronegativity. It stays the same. The calcium channels close down during phase 3. And that allows a rapid drop in the electronegativity, and we go back to the negative 90. Not only that, in addition to the closing of the calcium channels, there are more potassium channels that open up. So there's more potassium leaving the cell during phase 3 than they were leaving during phase 1 and phase 2. Okay, so once we hit the negative 90 range, which is the resting membrane potential, we are ready for another depolarization. Okay, now just going back to phase 3, it's called late repolarization. Now let's talk about mechanically as what this would mean for the heart. Now, during depolarization, when an impulse comes, it activates the cell and sodium channels open up and allow the sodium to come in and makes the cell electropositive. During this phase, it causes the heart to contract, or it gets the heart ready to contract, right? That signal, the depolarization, is telling the heart to contract. Now, during phase 2, the heart starts to relax, but it's stopped by the phase 2, the plateau phase, by the calcium ions. By inward flow of the calcium, it stops the repolarization. Now, this is extremely important, and the reason for that is this plateau phase allows the heart to stay in contraction longer, and this increases our cardiac output. Now, once this phase is over, we have the late repolarization. This refers to relaxation of the heart. Okay, so depolarization is contraction, repolarization is relaxation of the heart. All right, I hope that makes sense, guys. And if you have any questions or if you're confused about something, you can comment below or you can DM me and I'll try to answer your questions as soon as possible. And if you got any value out of this video, you learned something new, then please like and share with your friends and colleagues. I would greatly appreciate it. But that's it for this video. I'll see you guys again soon. Until then, stay safe and I'll be back soon. Take care, guys.